it also makes it exciting because you're going to get guys that develop. You're going to find guys that you didn't really know about, guys that step up and do a really good job. But we do have some older, familiar faces that have done a great job from a leadership standpoint. Julian Stevenson has been a stalwart here for 3 years. He's played a lot of football. He's our starting middle linebacker. He's a great, great young man. He did a great job leading this football team. Braden Bohannon, again, guy that's been with us a year, knows how I want it done. Hard worker. And then Justin Pinckney was another guy that's been around for a while. Jaden Calhoun, been around, played a lot of football games, busting his butt every day. So we've got some guys that are returning that we feel like have great leadership qualities already and understand what we want. And then guys like Dan Quavius Cummins, who was a freshman that played a lot of football last year, he's really stepped up and had a great offseason. I think Jaden Ponder, a running back, has really stepped up and done better. I think Xavier Brantley is a guy that hasn't, I wouldn't say stepped up from a leadership standpoint, but has stepped up from just doing the right thing every single day. He's trying to do better, and we've been pretty hard on him about it. But those are the guys that I say have really come to the forefront, really tried to take charge of this football team.
So you spoke a little bit about the production that you guys have lost. Obviously, a guy in John Colbert who is, I believe, your program's all-time leading rusher, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
You have Zach Lyle, who was a two-time All-American up front for you, a few other linemen, some defensive guys, Emmanuel O'Lighton, who was an All-American for you, Markel Sutton, who was a long-time player in that defensive backfield, losing a ton of production. How important is spring practice for the young guys of your team?
It's vital. I always tell our guys, in spring, you earn your starting job. In fall, it's your opportunity to keep it. I mean, this is how we set the depth chart. So, you better be busting your hump every single day if you want to be a starter come next fall. And so far, we've done a good job of that, and the kids have responded well. You need to go to the bathroom? I'll be right there.
It is a family affair here.
It is. We got kids running all over the place. So we, we've done a lot of things to try to help that. I mean, we've lost, and people are going to be like, why would you say that? I don't really care. I mean, you're going to see our depth chart. You're going to know we don't have many returners. We lost like 2,600 yards receiving. We lost our starting quarterback, which was 1,600 yards throwing. 14 and a half sacks up front. Like, I bet we've lost more than production than any team in the country. And we've probably got the toughest schedule of any team in the country. But I don't care, and nobody else cares. All we can do is prepare and try to get this team 100% ready to go for August 27th against Lindsey Wilson. Like, that's all we need to do every single day is prepare to be the best we can this spring, be the best we can in fall camp, and then prepare to have a great game plan when we go against them August 27th.
Absolutely. I got one more question for you, then I'm going to let you run around with your boys, all right?
Oh, yeah. He's got to pee. Hopefully he didn't pee in his pants.
So what is the primary goal for spring practice? What are you most looking to see out of your group throughout these next few weeks?
I think it's different every year. I think with this group, we got to figure out who we can count on to make plays, who we can count on in crunch time moments. We need to make every day as hard and as stressful and as close to game-like as we possibly can. That's the only way we're going to find out who we got and what we got when they have the ball in their hands, or vice versa on the defensive side. We got to make everything as hard and as stressful as we can to figure out who we are and who we got. Who can we count on up front? Who's the starting quarterback? Like, that's not a done deal. I think we have a pretty good idea, but it's not a done deal, and we got some great competition going on right now. I want to find out who's hungry. who's hungry to be a starter? How bad do you want to be a starter? How hard are you willing to practice to be that guy? We got to teach this team how to play, what kind of effort you have to play with in college football, how hard you got to play every single snap. So there's a lot of stuff. This spring is different than last spring, where I felt like, offensively at least, we knew who our starting running backs were. We knew who our starting O-line was. We knew who our starting tight ends were. This year, we don't know a lot of that, especially on offense. So we're trying to figure out who our playmakers are, who we can count on when things happen fast, when it means the most, who can we count on? So it's a huge spring for our guys. It's a huge spring for our coordinators, our coaches, our staff. Like, they got to come ready to go every single day. And I've really pushed the tempo. I've really pushed how we do things. We had to make an adjustment today and switch our practice around because lacrosse had senior day. And I think we got 67 plays in an hour and 15 minutes. We got to keep doing things like that, and this team will get better, and we'll get better. So I'm excited, though. This is why you like coaching, because this makes you hungry. We got to figure out who we are, who we can count on. Like, it's not going to be a forgiven. We got to go figure it out. So we got to get guys better. So this is why you coach.
Yes, sir. Coach Miller.
Appreciate it, brother.
I appreciate
Always great
you.
to see you, man.
Yes,
Enjoy
sir.
the baseball.
Absolutely, absolutely. There is a baseball game coming up after this, so stay tuned. Now we're going to have an opportunity to speak with the Reinhardt offensive coordinator, Coach Hennis. We'll allow Coach Hennis to bring himself to the forefront. So, Coach Hennis, thank you so much for joining me. How you doing today, sir?
Oh, great. We had a great practice this morning, and now beautiful weather. So excited.
Hey, they call this baseball weather, man.
I love it, man. This is Ottawa, Kansas. This is where I was at before I came here.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you familiar with the?
I'm familiar with
that,
the Braves.
that black and gold?
Yes, I am. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So just spoke with Coach Miller, and he kind of touched on it a little bit. Losing some production from last season, now having to shuffle some things around and plug some guys in different spots with so many positions up for grabs. How are you approaching spring?
We lost a lot of production, but it's exciting, and you love to watch the competition. When jobs are up for grabs, like you said, I think watching kids actually compete and not necessarily always just say, okay, he's a 3-year starter, I'm going to take a back seat and I got to wait my turn. Now jobs are open, man. I mean, starting quarterbacks open, running back, receivers, like a lot of spots. I mean, our starting left tackle for the last 4 years is gone. So, there's a lot of spots. And as a coach who loves continuity and like structure, it is tough initially, but when you are a competitor like I am, it also gets exciting.
Absolutely, absolutely. So even with sort of things sort of shuffling around, there's always going to be a guy here and a guy there that you feel like you can trust in certain situations. So for your team this year, who do you feel like will be the players that you'll be leaning on in terms of leadership?
Yeah, well, Steph Craig, he'll be sixth year senior. Got a lot of. I mean, he's been here since I've gotten here, and he'll be a guy that I'll lean on for leadership. Bohannon, who's only been here for a short time, but he's got it in his blood. Like, he is a born leader, so he'll be another guy. And then a couple guys that are hurt right now, Cam Curtis, Harlem Diamond, are also two guys that have played, have been here since I've been here, that know what we want, know the expectation, know the standard, and we'll look towards those guys as far as a skill position. But then you also got up front, you got Jaden Calhoun, Justin Pinckney, are very experienced O-linemen, Xavier Walker, Austin Davis. The production, we might have lost some, but up front, the guys who, in my mind, really contributed to the production are still there. We've got a lot of experience up front on the low O-line and a lot of experience at the tight end position.
Yes, sir. So what is the position group that you feel like will be most under the microscope from you and your staff this spring?
I think it's got to be running back. I think you said the production purpose of it. We're going to be a run team, and so And I say running back. I'm saying ball carrier. Quarterback, receivers, running back. We've lost 90% of our production running the football, and we're going to preach running the football. We're going to win the line of scrimmage. We're going to be physical. So those yardage, those positions, slot receivers, running backs, and even the quarterbacks, that'll be the position that we'll have under a microscope for sure is, the guys carrying the football.
So what would constitute, final question right here, what would constitute a successful spring session for you?
I've been preaching to my guys that I think if we go into a game and we block better and we take care of the football better than the opponent, we're going to win. So I'd say if we come out at the end of spring and we feel like we put in great effort and technique to block, whether you got the ball or not, or obviously if you don't have the football, and then obviously, taking care of the football, whether that's when you're running the ball, whether you're throwing the ball, I want to come away from spring ball and feel like we did a good job taking care of the football and not turning it over.
Coach,
thank you.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure, Zoe. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me. That was Coach Ennis, Reinhardt's offensive coordinator, and we're going to have a moment for the defensive coordinator, Coach Barry Gardner, to come in. Again, Reinhardt, they're going to start the season on the road at Lindsey Wilson this year. That's a Thursday night game. They'll have a game on the road against D2 powerhouse Newberry. Also come home and play against Southeastern for what will be the 5th time in the last 4 seasons. That's becoming a bit of a rivalry here. Reinhardt also on the road at Florida Memorial. They'll finish non-con up at home against Faulkner before heading into AAC play. Now joining me, the defensive coordinator, Coach Gardner. How you doing, sir?
What's up, big dog?
Hey, I'm living, man. I'm living. I can't complain. So I spoke with Coach Miller. I spoke with Coach Ennis. He talked about some production being lost. You guys losing some real talented edge rushers in Damian Deloney and Emmanuel O'Lighton. How important will it be for you to see some of the younger guys step up for you up front this year?
Well, the biggest transition for the young guys is the consistency you got to play with, all the time. It's not sometimes. It's easier when you play 10 plays a game and you can come in and play hard. You got to play hard all the time when you play a lot of plays too. So that's going to be the biggest transition for our kids, going from playing some to playing a lot and being all the time locked in. It's not really physical and mental is going to be the problem for them. They got to stay locked in.
Absolutely. So you have some guys who are returning from last season. You have some guys who have played a lot of football, other guys who maybe haven't played so much, but you feel like you can trust in certain situations. Who will you look to be the leaders of your defense this year?
Well, as far as position group-wise, last year we were heavy in seniors at ends, and then our DBs, our 2 starting corners and our free was play a lot of football. So that was kind of our leaders. This year's transition more to the linebackers. Obviously, Julian Stevens has been here for a long time, played a lot of football, and then Greer and Poindexter both started last year. So we got 3 linebackers that started in football games before. Okay, and some of the other positions they played football, they never started. Big difference. So they got to be more of a leaders for us. And then as far as just personnel-wise, the biggest person is going to be, there's actually 2 of them, Jamari Major and then Quavius Cummins. That's 2 of our young guys that played, and Cummings started. But he needs to be the guy that people lean on to get help lined up. Where last year he just had to do his job. He did a great job for us. But he's got to take more of a leader role, more in the room than on the field even. The biggest thing with him is going to be in the room. And same thing with Major. Major's going from playing good and well for us last year, quite a bit actually, especially the last 5 games. But he's got to be now the vocal leader of the team because he's a free safety, and that's who's got to make all the checks.
So from last year, you feel like you have young guys who are able to step up and contribute for you. You spoke about Dan Quavius Cummings, Jamari Major. Who's someone who may not have a ton of attention right now, but you feel like can really step up and provide a spark for you this season?
Yeah. Well, so there's 2 of them actually. Cam McClure has played very well so far in the spring, and Aldridge. Both have played very well as far as spring goes. They've not played a lot of football yet for us. But they got promising futures for sure. They got to keep growing, stay in the weight room and get a little bit stronger, both of them. But they're both smart. They both play hard, which is 2 of the biggest things you got to get done. And they both listen. They're both coachable. So they can pick up on things fast. We've been Aldridge around a little bit from free safety and enforcer. And then Cam's been playing a lot of dog for us, and those are 2 I'm excited about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what would constitute a successful spring for you, Coach?
Well, obviously learning the scheme. We're building from last year, saying like we're starting from scratch. But there is key positions that are new. Like we've changed positions a couple of times with some people. So they're not used to everything you got to do to play that position. And then the biggest thing, though, is going to be being so young. You got to play hard all the time. Like I just talked about earlier, it's not when you play 12 plays, anybody can play hard, but it's not physical. Everybody's like, no, you're going to play 45, 50 plays in the secondary, okay, if you're a starter, more than likely, right? So it's not a physical thing. We're going to get in shape. We're getting hit in shape. We're going to have a good conditioning program. It's not going to be physical. Mentally, though, can you lock in for 45 plays? You can't bust in the secondary. It's that simple. So, we're transitioning from playing, except for Kish Wright, we're playing, Major, a great example. CJ Hollenquist, a great example. They played 20, 25 plays a game, and they were very efficient. They were both graded out very well several times last year. They were very good players for us. But now they have to grow as a vocal leader, but also I got to be locked in mentally all the time, not sometime. And it's a little bit harder mentally. And once you do it a couple times, it becomes like second nature. Like I'm sure you play football, the more you play, the more it becomes second nature. But early on, it's hard to be locked in for 45 plays straight the first time you do it. So that's going to be the biggest key.
Absolutely. Coach, thank you so much for joining me. That's Coach Barry Gardner. I'm Lorenzo Robinson. This has been a special edition of the James Miller Coaches Show. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We will see you all next time.